The 104th session of the UN World Tourism Organization came to a close in the Egyptian city of Luxor. Yasser Hakim met David Scowsill, the president and CEO of the World Travel and Tourism Council. They spoke about the council's efforts to help Egypt revive its tourism industry, as well as the influence of Chinese tourists on the international tourism market.
Well, the agenda here is important because we brought the whole of the world's travel and tourism community to Luxor, particularly to shine the spotlight on what's happening in Egypt and the fact that tourists are not coming here at the moment. Well, as you know, the Russians, the Germans and the British particularly have stopped flying to places like Sharm el-Sheikh after the Russian airliner was downed. And a lot of security has been put in place now by the government here in Egypt to encourage people to come back. That's now in place. Egypt is safe. Now is the time for the tourists to return.
Do you have any kind of mechanism to pressure these governments, or at least convince them that it's safe to return to Egypt?
Well, what we're doing now is we're talking directly to the governments, both directly and through the press, to make it very clear to them that Egypt is now safe to operate, safe to fly those airliners. And it's so important, this, because Egypt is suffering really badly. People are losing their jobs, hotels are closing, restaurants are closing. We cannot afford people to be out on the streets in Egypt. We have to support this country and fly the tourists back in.
What was their feedback? What do they need in order to be convinced that they can resume flights to Egypt?
They want to be absolutely sure that the aviation industry is safe to operate, so that the airports are secure and that there's no chance of another incident like impacting the Russian airliner that was downed out of Sharm el-Sheikh. And I think the level of security that's been put in place now by the Egyptian authorities is sufficient for those governments to allow the airlines to fly again.
How is the overall situation in the tourism industry? Has it been affected by the global economic recession or fluctuation in the global market?
Well, the industry is still growing. We're going to grow another 3.1% this year, which is 1% faster than GDP. In that context, oil prices are lower. So prices in most parts of the world are coming down. The airline's yield is coming down at the moment because the oil price is lower. There's overcapacity in our industry. What we are seeing, though, is people are not going to certain countries this year. They're not going to Egypt or Turkey or Tunisia because of the terrorist attacks in each of those locations. But they're still traveling, they're very resilient, and they go to Spain, Portugal, Malta and Italy instead. So overall the picture is very good. We're not seeing any impact globally by these localized, country-specific terrorist attacks.
China has been attracting a lot of interest in this year's session in Luxor. Why is that?
Well, China has grown so dramatically because the central government 20 years ago made travel and tourism one of the key pillars for their economic development. So all the infrastructure that's there, the airports that have been built, the new 45 airports that are coming, are designed for primarily domestic tourism, but also for inbound international tourism. And of course the outbound market from China is now 131 million people, and that's proving to be very important for the countries where the Chinese consumers are visiting.
Are you working with Chinese officials to expand on these issues?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the demographics in China, there are 200 million retired people now, all of whom who have money to spend and to travel. The young people are traveling, and the government wants people to go out and to experience different cultures and to see the world. So we're working very closely with the Chinese government to make that happen.